All right, what is going on, boys and girls? It's the one and only the Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. You are checking out a very special and live edition for the RCWR show coming at you this Saturday night, October 3rd. 2015. Of course, as always, those of you that's not checking us out live, you're checking out the recording, the download. Appreciate the support as always. We're coming on for a very good reason. We are covering tonight's WWE live from Madison Square Garden event that literally just went off the air on the WWE network. That was the only way you could see this. I hope those of you that do not have the WWE network, that like you signed up and you were able to check out this event. If you still have not gotten the WWE network all this month long, in the month of October, for new subscribers only, brand new, never subscribed before, brand new subscribers, you can sign up for the network for the entire month for free. That's right, FREE. You can't beat that. I got to tell you, I really had enjoyed this event. I thought it was quite enjoyable. Now, for those of you that might be a little bit curious, well, Lee, I saw the Beast from the East WWE special. Comparing that to what went down tonight, which event did you think was better? Honestly, it kind of comes off like a tie, but I kind of got to give the edge a little bit more so to the first live special. So the Beast in the East, I felt, was a bit better than the MSG event tonight, but then at the same time, WWE coming to you from Madison Square Garden. A lot of history there, a lot of wrestling history, a lot of WWE history there. You know, just going back to the old territory days and all that, the Bob Backlund days, the Bruno Sammartino days, Pedro Morales. I mean, we could just be here all night. For those of you that have been to MSG, you know how special it is whenever WWE heads over there. So, I mean, for them to emulate from that event tonight, definitely all around. I just have to say the event was really good. If you didn't catch it tonight, kick on back, relax. I'll give you guys the winners of the matches, and I'll give you my personal favorites, and we'll just go from there. All right. And as always, we appreciate the love and support. Interact with me on Twitter at the RCWR Show, Facebook, Infinity One Productions. That's with an E, spell out one, Infinity One Productions. We got a busy weekend, and it all begins with tonight's MSG coverage of WWE. And then, of course, we got TNA doing their thing with Bound for Glory tomorrow night. Those of you that's a little bit curious, yes, we will be dusting off Impact Showdown for one night only to cover that event. I'll give you the details on that in the later part of the show. Chat rooms are open. We are live simultaneously right now on Mixer and on YouTube. So to our Mixer audience, hello. All right. So, I did not catch this first match. It looks like this was a dark match that had went down as Zack Ryder had defeated Bo Dallas. Yes, a dark match. Zack Ryder, Bo Dallas. Hey, I'm glad WWE showed Zack Ryder a little bit of love. Not too far since he's from the New Jersey area and all that. Kind of close to New York, yeah, give or take. Great to see him have his little moment. I was wondering why he said what he said on Twitter. There was a message that he put out there that said something along the lines of, nights like this, you remember, or great moments like this is why we do what we do. Thank you so much, New York City. And I was kind of like, why did he put that out there? And then I learned like later on during the night, because somebody had hit me up. They were like, hey, did you know Zack Ryder, he was in a dark match? I was like, no, because they knew how much of a Zack Ryder fan I am. They were like, yeah, he was in a dark match. So shout out to those of you that were at the MSG event. I definitely want to hear from you guys. Let me know how that Zack Ryder, Bo Dallas match had went. Usually RCWR Show fans, we have some pretty cool wrestling fans that will interact with us throughout social media and like, hey, I was at that event and this is what happened. So it's nice when folks reach out to us and let us know how things had went down there. There was a second dark match that consisted of Mark Henry defeating Brad Maddox. There's a name that we have not heard of in a very long time. Last time we saw Brad Maddox, he was the Raw intern general manager or acting general manager, so to speak. I know he was trying to storyline wise jockey for the position of being the Raw general manager, but that didn't really pan out. He's been gone for an extended period of time. I know there was some type of a weird gimmick that he was packaged as recently. I can't think of who his tag partner was, but I remember seeing the photos of their gimmick, and I was kind of going, that's not really going to last that long. It looked silly. It kind of, if I were to describe it, it was a brief picture that I saw too. It kind of looked like maybe he was trying to be you know what it reminded me of? I'll tell you what him and his tag partner reminded me of. WCW's American Males. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Just like a watered down bootleg version of those guys, but on the cheesy side. And I know some of you guys are kind of like, well, how does it get cheesier than American Males? Trust me, from what I saw, the little bit that I remember, it looked very cheesy. To the actual card, the matches that we actually saw on the WWE Network, things had began with Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler taking on Sheamus and Rusev. Summer Rae at ringside. That was your tag team match. A lot of energy into this tag match right here. And you know, if the rumors are true that Randy Orton has jockeyed to be in the position where he kind of has like a similar schedule to a Chris Jericho or Shawn Michaels, those of you that's been watching the WWE product that long, if you remember how Shawn Michaels' schedule started to become a couple of years before he retired, remember he would be back for like a couple of months, then he would be off for a couple of months, and then he'd come back. If the rumors are true, I tell you, it sucks because I don't know. Every time I've been seeing Randy Orton off and on, I would say the past 4 months, and I think those of you that's been watching carefully, you can back me up on this. Randy Orton just seems like he's a lot more loose. He's seems to be a bit more playful, a little bit more charismatic. He just is really coming out of his shell. It really seems like, and just when you start to go, hey, I'm finally coming around to Randy Orton, he disappears again. So this match, I thought the energy was all with Randy Orton. I also thought the energy was with Dolph Ziggler as well. One thing that just kind of irritated me about this particular match, and maybe I'm just nitpicking, I didn't really analyze it. I just went with my gut instinct as soon as I saw what was playing out before me, which was at one point, we see Dolph Ziggler, he's getting his ass handed to him by Rusev, right? And there was some weird scenario. No. It was Dolph Ziggler taking on Sheamus. It was a weird spot where Sheamus he was dominating physically. And I remember Dolph Ziggler was like trying to come around to his feet or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, Sheamus is going to knock him back down, and then maybe he's going to go over to his corner, tag Rusev, and they're going to do it that way. But it was so weird. Sheamus like allowed Ziggler to get up. I hope I don't have the names mixed up, but if you go back and watch the match, you'll see what I'm talking about. It was just kind of one of those, wait a minute, why didn't you continue to beat him down? What the hell right there? But I mean, other than that, I really had enjoyed the energy that was into this match. The crowd was really into this, and I think the crowd was really into this particular match for the simple fact that there was no Lana, thank God. So, you know, we didn't have to worry about two girls going at it outside of the ring and all that. Look, Lana's very attractive, very hot. Summer Rae, you know, she has her moments where she looks cute. I'll give her that. I will definitely give her that. But I'm glad that this was not a match where really concerned about distractions that was going on outside of the ring. To sum it all up, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler picking up the victory. Post-match, Rusev very pissed off with Sheamus, slapped him around a few times, told him he's just as bad as Lana. He doesn't need him, just like how he doesn't need Lana. Just roughing Sheamus up really good. He went to grab a microphone, cut a nice little heel promo on the MSG crowd. By the time he turned around, Sheamus came to, gave him a nice, good, strong bro kick to the face. I would imagine those two guys are probably going to lock it up on next Monday's WWE Raw. We'll wait and see how that comes about. Neville, he defeated Stardust in a one-on-one matchup. I thought it was very interesting that the commentators, which consisted of Brian Saxton, JBL, Rich Brennan, for the most part, I thought they did a decent job working together. I thought there was very interesting chemistry that was there. As to my knowledge, this is like the first time that these guys all work together commentating the same event. If they've commentated an event previously, somebody let me know so we can make the correction. But to my knowledge, as long as I've been watching, this to me was the first time these three guys were working together. One of our listeners had said apparently Rich Brennan made a mistake when he was referencing Seth Rollins and John Cena. If I can actually pull up the tweet, and those of you that were paying attention to the commentating, you let me know if that was the case. But Brendan had said, did Rich Brennan mix up Rollins and Cena when talking about SummerSlam? Hashtag bring back Tom Phillips. Now, look, those of you that's been listening long enough, you guys know that when it comes to my thoughts on Rich Brennan, previous months I say, you know what, the guy, he just keeps fumbling. He just like isn't really familiar with the wrestlers' names, the finishers. You could tell that like he's just rehearsing or whatever. Like he really doesn't know anything about the business or whatever. He's not really watching the product enough to really get stuff down. Hey, maybe one could make the argument that maybe he's nervous or whatever like that. Who knows? But I definitely have always gone to bat and said Tom Phillips, definitely, he's very good. Honestly, if he did mess up, I hope that was the only time he messed up, because if I got to go to bat for Rich, I think within recent months, I would say the past, he's been with SmackDown now for what, about 2 months, maybe almost 3 months. He seems to be doing a pretty decent job from what I've been able to see. I hope he continues to do better. I don't know, man. Whether some of you like it or not, this guy just may be the next Michael Cole. I hope that's not the case. I would like to see Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton. I think those guys have been doing a phenomenal job. Renee Young as well. Both of them have been doing a really good job. So we'll see what happens with regards to that. Want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's checking us out live on YouTube, or maybe you're checking us out live on Mixler.com right now. Lee Sanders here of the RCWR Show. We are covering WWE live at MSG. Fantastic event. I was telling my girl, I said, hun, and this is true. This is a true story. I was in New York City. Every chance I get, I love going out there. I love interacting with the people. I love eating the foods. I love the sightseeing. All right. I just love it all that's out there. I've never been to a Madison Square Garden event. And like friends, family that I've spoken to over the years, they're like, you've got to go, especially like when it comes to wrestling, but just any and everything MSG. They're like, you got to go. It's fantastic. Closest I've been to MSG, I was across the street from it. Literally across the street from it. I could have just crossed the street, put my finger out, touched the daggone building, but yeah, one of these days I got to get over there. Next time the WWE brings a live event to MSG, I definitely got to go check it out. Next matchup. Oh, I was talking about Stardust. Yeah, one thing about Stardust before I got into the whole commentator stuff and all that, I want to just put this thought out there, have you guys marinate on it, and then together we'll see what happens. I think it'll make a great discussion. Now, I couldn't help but notice that the commentators during the Neville versus Stardust match, they did not bring up the fact that Stardust is going to be joining his older brother, Goldust, on next week's NXT for the conclusion of the Dusty Rhodes Classics, where I guess they're going to crown new NXT tag champions. I've been so busy with work, I haven't really been able to keep track of what has been happening over there in NXT. But I just thought that was kind of interesting, because it's like, oh, wow. So for once we're going to get Cody Rhodes, or we're actually going to get Stardust. The way it's being built up, they're saying Cody Rhodes will be joining Goldust. So I just thought it was rather interesting that the commentators did not mention that, and it was just strictly about Neville taking on Stardust. I'm just very curious to see how everything is going to be panning out next week, because I just want to put this thought out there and we'll move along. If Cody Rhodes shows up, I think that is going to be a very interesting discussion in itself. Now, you all just marinate on that. If you don't know, what I'm getting at with that, I'll be happy to elaborate on our next podcast. But those of you that's kind of like, yeah, Lee, I know exactly where you're going with that. You feel what I'm saying, right? Next matchup, we had some Divas action. Team Bella, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox. They defeated the team of PCB, which still sounds like a damn drug. Paige, Charlotte, Becky Lynch. I was watching this match and I was sitting on my hands literally as I was watching this, because I'm like, well, wait a minute now. What about what had went down on Monday Night Raw, where we saw Paige? She just basically left Becky Lynch and Charlotte hanging. Why are we seeing these girls team up again? What the hell is going on right here? So I'm kind of saying to myself, surely Becky Lynch and Charlotte, they're like going to turn their back on Paige at some point. Surely they're going to do that. As far as the in-ring action goes, I've been saying it for the longest time. I'm not going to hold any punches back. Look, some of you may disagree. That's fine if you disagree with me. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. It's okay if we disagree. I just say let's have a healthy discussion. Let's have a healthy debate about it when we disagree. But as far as the Bellas go, I've been saying it time and time and time and time and time again. Nikki, the better in-ring performer than her sister. I mean, my God, I was watching Brie tonight. It was like night and day with the Bella girls. I mean, I was watching one Bella and Nikki go in there. And, for the most part, as far as her offense, she's holding her own. She's doing her thing. And it's like, okay, all right, not too bad. But I mean, man, when Brie went in there, it was like the NASDAQ. It just went down. She moved so slow. I mean, from her kicks to grabbing the opponent in the headlock, and everything was just kind of slow. It was kind of like she had to think before she did the move. Whereas it's like, which is weird when you really think about it, because for most of what we hear in the WWE, a lot of these guys and gals, they rehearse their moves, their spots, and all that, because that's basically what it is when you really break it down. And that's not derogatory. I mean, they got to do what they got to do within a certain time period before they go to a commercial break, or before they go into possible overtime into the next match that's supposed to begin. And there's certain moves that's played out, certain spots, certain angles that's played out in the ring. There's nothing wrong with planning all that stuff out. But my whole thing is all that preparation that goes into it and everything. You would think that when it comes time for the bell ring, that everything is just boom, 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 and it's over. But I swear, every time as of late, I've been watching Brie Bella, and she's just been going in there. She's gotten better, but she could be a lot better. And just the fact that we're seeing these girls in Charlotte, who boom, is able to pick it up just like that. We already know about Paige. She's been in it since she was 13 or 11 years old or whatever. You look at Becky Lynch. I mean, my God, that girl on the Independence always was tearing it up. And it just seems like when these girls get in there and they're taking them on, it's so frustrating, because it's like, Paige, Lynch, Charlotte, they're 3 times better than these girls, and they got to keep playing down to that level. I'm like just patiently waiting, man, waiting for these girls to just finally break up and stop with this whole West Side Story BS of faction versus this faction versus this faction. Thought it was very interesting that the New York crowd was like, we want Sasha. They actually chanted that. They were like, we want Sasha. heard that a couple of times during the match. But I will say this. I will say this. Remember how I told you I was on my hands? I was sitting on my hands watching this match, wondering, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why are they teaming with Paige again? Well, they didn't forget what happened on Monday night, even though the commentating, they kind of came off as if they forgot to mention what went down on Monday night. I really didn't hear a reference to Monday night. And they did reference Monday Night Raw a few times with some of the matches on tonight's card. But with the Bellas and Team PCB, they didn't mention what went down between PCB. You kind of had to connect the dots for yourself if you were watching for like the first time, because the commentators kind of gave a little bit of a clue when we saw Charlotte and Becky Lynch towards the final seconds of the match actually turn their back on Paige when she was looking for a hot tag. Paige, like, what the hell are you guys doing? And we saw Nikki Bella, or one of the Bellas, come in for a roll-up pin, scored the victory that way. And wouldn't you know it, Paige, she grabs a microphone at the end, and she's just crying like a baby, talking about how she would never do that to them, and she doesn't understand why they did that to her, and she's trying to make herself out to be the victim. And you're kind of like, come on, honey, really? After what you did on Monday night, all of a sudden you're the victim? Oh, come on. Come now. Next matchup, one of my favorite matches of the entire night. I would actually have to say one of two favorite moments when I look at the entire card of what was presented to us on the network. Kevin Owens taking on Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship. I've always been a fan of Chris Jericho, a longtime fan. Any longtime RCWR show listener knows I have tried a couple of times to reach out to Jericho and see if we can get him on the show. And it just seems like every time I've tried to reach out, the guy is just so freaking busy and all that. It's like, but my fingers are still crossed that one day we can possibly get this man on the show. I've been following his career for so long. I know I'd have a great conversation with him. Speaking of his career, he celebrated a milestone, which he acknowledged during tonight's event, which is it's his 25th anniversary since being involved in the sport of pro wrestling. Yeah, 25th anniversary. Great. Lance Storm was there in attendance. Lance Storm has an age worth a damn. Still looks very recognizable. Just great. I got goosebumps just seeing Jericho and Lance Storm like at the same time at the same venue. It just brought back a lot of great memories for me. Lot of great memories. I'll talk about those memories at another time. But Gracie and Jericho there, you know what? His match with Kevin Owens, classic. It was a instant classic. Let me tell you, if you guys did not get a chance to watch the event tonight, that is the first match. Maybe you can check it out on YouTube. I don't know, a torrent or something. Or sign up for the network for free and, watch that. But that match right there, you'll get into that one. I promise you guys. Damn great matchup. Great ring psychology. Just all the way around. I loved everything. It was a good technical match. A really good technical match. I loved it. Kevin Owens, still your Intercontinental Champion. Dudley Boyz, they defeated New Day's Big E, Kofi Kingston, thanks to Xavier Woods, the X Factor, once again, causing the disqualification right when Bubba Ray, Devon, right when it was looking as though these guys were about to become the new tag champions. Xavier coming in with that X Factor. I thought it was rather interesting since the Dudley Boyz have been back and they just keep getting screwed by New Day. I thought it was interesting. And anybody else, did you peep this out? Thought it was really badass that JBL had said, maybe Dudley Boyz need to give Spike a call so that they can kind of counter Xavier Woods. I thought that name drop in particular was very interesting because I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, I might not said it on the show, but I definitely was thinking to myself, where the hell is Spike Dudley? It's like this Xavier Woods guy. If he is what is constantly the problem, then maybe they should make a phone call, bring Spike Dudley back, and that way, you can even it up or whatever. And like, I kept looking for the commentators to make some type of reference to Spike Dudley on the main WWE shows, but like they never referenced him. So I thought it was really badass that he was referenced during tonight's MSG event. Not to mention, I love just going back a little bit. I love all the great insight that they gave you for particular stars. Like when it came to Chris Jericho, they like went over like his entire career, how decorated he is, and all that. Briefly had mentioned Kevin Owens and all that. They definitely did a good job putting the Dudley Boys over and everything. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that of all the commentators, JBL mentioned the Spike Dudley reference. I don't know if that's like maybe a name drop on purpose to give us fans like a taste of things to come or what. I just thought that spot was just so perfect though that he mentioned it of all places, Dudley Boys, they got a decent reaction from the crowd. As far as reactions go, I mean, the MSG crowd was really into a majority of the matches. I would say, with the exception of maybe Neville versus Stardust. I mean, other than when Neville had did the red arrow, I mean, the crowd was kind of quiet. They were into it, but you could tell they were kind of quiet. Uh, but the other match, I would say they were kind of into the Divas matches as well, but the chance for Sasha, you could not ignore that. Kevin Owens versus Jericho, they really love that matchup. As far as like biggest pops, they really love that one. They really love New Day from the moment that those guys had came out. They were cutting their promos. Uh, awesome, awesome how they came out and they were like, "Hey, it's now come down to the final leg of the Dudley Boys farewell tour," and they were just throwing out all these ancient dinosaur cliches, tying it into the Dudley Boys from the "What's up," and then the physical assault when Bubba Ray pushes Devon and tries to tell him to go get a table or whatever. Right down to, why are these guys wearing eyeglass frames, but there's no lenses in them? And it's like, by God, only New Day would say something like that and pull it off in a way where it sounds funny. And then you go, yeah, what the hell is up with that? Only New Day could probably pull that off, man. But great matchup right there. Dudley Boys, New Day. Again, Dudley Boys defeated New Day via disqualification as a result of the X Factor, Xavier Woods, jumping in there and attacking one of the Dudleys. One of two main events as we go. I said that was a tongue twister. One of two main events we go to now. Brock Lesnar defeated the Big Show. I believe that was probably the shortest match of the entire night. I think I had that clocked in at about maybe 7 minutes. Somebody correct me on that if necessary, but I'm pretty sure that was the shortest match on the card. Basically, this is how the match went down. Pretty much 3 choke slams. Brock Lesnar, like, he comes back, suplex, F5, match is over. That's pretty much it. Brock Lesnar comes back. I think he did another suplex. Yeah, he did another suplex, followed by another F5. Brock Lesnar is done. That was pretty much it. As far as you guys, that's like, how was the reaction for Lesnar? Um, it was there. I don't know. I kind of got the impression that the crowd was kind of getting a little bit fatigued, maybe. I don't know. That's just the vibe that I was picking up. I can only tell you like what I was able to hear from just the viewing standpoint. I did have the TV up rather loud, but it didn't seem like the, "Oh snap, it's Brock freaking Lesnar." It didn't really come off like that. It wasn't that energetic, at least to me. Now I'll gladly watch it again just to make sure, but it really didn't jump out like whenever Brock Lesnar usually shows up, which I thought was just kind of a little bit weird given the fact that this is like Brock Lesnar and he's like a special attraction type of guy. But for the majority of this match that he had with Big Show, the crowd was definitely into what Lesnar was doing or whatever. They really could like not give a flying hoot about the Big Show. So much so that I thought it was funny. Cody Rhodes' wife, can't think of her name right now, but she's been doing some of the ring announcing after Lesnar and Heyman made their exit to the gorilla position. She goes, "Everybody, let's hear a hand for Big Show." And like, all you heard was like a couple of boos. There was like no cheers. It was it was like, damn, poor Big Show. You just felt bad for the guy. Main event match, steel cage match for the WWE United States Championship. John Cena defended it against Seth Rollins. Corporate Kane was in the house, who told Renee Young earlier in the night in a backstage interview that he was there for Seth Rollins to see him in his match against John Cena. That would be the only time we would see Corporate Kane. Great matchup. Great matchup between Cena, Seth Rollins. I had a little bit of a bone to pick with the finish to the match, though. Towards the end, it looked as though Seth Rollins was getting ready to climb over the top of the steel cage, as there was only 3 ways to win this match. You either had to, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to say 3. I'm not sure about the 4th one, but I'm going to say 3. Either you climb the cage, you exit through the gate, or you pin your opponent. I was tempted to say you make your opponent submit, but I didn't really catch that one. I'm not really sure if that was a case as well, a condition that you could win the match, So I thought it was interesting that Seth Rollins was on top of the steel cage, and like all he had to do was just pretty much drop. He's the new United States champion. You hear the music of Kane. Kane comes out. I expected all that. But then at this point, you're kind of like, well, hell, what is Seth Rollins going to do now? So, and the commentators, they just keep building this up. They're like, oh man, what a situation Seth Rollins is in. What did he do? So Seth Rollins is just sitting on top of the steel cage, weighing in his options. And he decides, okay, you know what? I'm just going to try to do a frog splash onto John Cena, who's just laying on his back or whatever. Cena moves out the way. Seth Rollins messes his foot up and all that. John Cena capitalizes, double A, boom, match is over. When, I don't know, for me, that just I just thought that was kind of silly. I thought it would have made a little bit more sense, just from a booking standpoint. Well, if the only thing that is stopping Seth Rollins from becoming the United States champion is Kane, well, just freaking do a body splash on top of Kane, and maybe that'll send him crashing down, right? Boom, he's his feet and all that is on the canvas. He's the new United States champion. He could just at that point just haul ass. He's double champion again, just do it like that. Or maybe Kane moves out the way and Seth hurts himself really badly and he gets his ass whooped on top of that. But hey, at least he's still the new United States champion. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird that, because I'm just thinking of how Seth Rollins has been booked as of late, really ever since he became the WWE champion. And at first it started off like a watered down Edge, the Opportunist, but then it just kind of went into, my God, this has got to be the most chicken shit champion of all time in the WWE. And every time this guy is in some type of a position where the odds are stacked against him, what am I gonna do? Hunter, Steph, what are we gonna do? What's the plan? You're kind of like, God, this guy's obnoxious. It's like, get a set and go take care of business, And it's just so inconsistent. And, it's like Seth Rollins is bipolar. It's like 1 minute he's running around. What are we going to do? And then the next minute he does these bold moves where he's like, I'm on the top of a steel cage. I don't know if I should go out and get my butt whooped by Kane or if I should try to do a body splash to John Cena. I don't know. It just seems so. Honestly, I would have expected Seth Rollins to climb back inside the ring, drop down all nice and politely, try to pin John Cena. Cena kicks out. Seth Rollins tries to pin John Cena again. John Cena kicks out. Seth maybe does a couple of kicks, stomps, tries to go for the gate, and then maybe you could have had Cena come around, grab him that way, and then maybe you could have ended it on a nice, good series of counters, culminating in a double A from John Cena. I just thought, that way it can kind of keep consistent with the running around chicken Seth Rollins. Am I right or wrong about my assessment on that one? I'd like to hear from you guys. Let me know. But yeah, John Cena still your United States champion. Overall, though, great live WWE event. I look forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do with the next one. Those of you that are aware of the horrific rating for this past Monday's WWE Raw have a little bit of a programming note to bring to your attention, which was not covered by the WWE, which is I know they said that the next time the Brock Lesnar tour continues, it's going to be with the Stone Cold podcast on Monday night, October 19th. Well, due to the fact that this past Monday's Raw was so bad, it was so bad that like it was the worst non-televised episode since like 1997 apparently. So bad that they actually are going to be using Brock Lesnar on this Monday's WWE Raw. That's a lot. Also hearing rumblings that Undertaker may be on this Monday's Raw as well. So I mean, talk about WWE like really jumping out there trying to get all the help that they can get as far as boosting the ratings go and all that. But that's a different discussion for another time. As far as top matches of the night, again, excluding the dark matches, because we can't really talk about that, we pretty much had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. Out of the 7 matches, I definitely got to give props to Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler taking on Sheamus and Rusev. That was a great match. Kevin Owens taking on Chris Jericho, another great match. I actually enjoyed Dudley Boyz taking on New Day. I thought that was a great match as well. And I'll definitely give props to John Cena taking on Seth Rollins. Scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the least, 10 being absolute favorite. I would have to give WWE Live from MSG a respected, I'd say 6.5 out of 10. So, quick programming note, because we got a very busy weekend. We're going to be back live covering TNA Bound for Glory Fallout as we're bringing back Impact Showdown for one night only. You'll be able to catch that live on Mixler.com, and you'll be able to catch it on YouTube.com. And the next podcast, radio edition of the RCWR Show, you'll be able to catch that live Tuesday, October 6th, 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Spreaker.com. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at the RCWR Show, Facebook, Infinity One Productions with an E, spell out one. And make sure you check out all the links in the episode description, man. You can check us out on various platforms, scoop up our episodes on the downloads, but most importantly, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on all the great content that we do for you here on a weekly basis. Make sure to Google Plus this, share it, retweet it. You know the drill. You know how to do it. And definitely let me know what you thought about tonight's MSG event. For those of you that had saw it, and what we'll do, we'll dedicate a portion of Tuesday's show for you all's reactions. I'll read some of you all's comments. If you want to leave me a voicemail message on what you thought about the event, I definitely would encourage you to do that. You have about 90 seconds to leave a voicemail message. Just head on over to our website, infinityOneProductions.com. That's with an E, but put in the actual number 1, infinityOneProductions.com. Click on the RCWR Show voicemail tab in the upper right-hand corner. I don't care what device you're using. As long as you have a built-in mic, you can leave a message at most 90 seconds. And definitely let me know what you thought about tonight's WWE Live at MSG event. And like I said, we'll go over the comments, any voicemail on the Tuesday night show. But that is going to do it. Wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Thanks for the support as always. Special shout out to those of you that will be checking this out on the downloads. Take care, everybody. Ciao.